Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new live episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and it's Friday, May the 30th, ladies and gentlemen, and officially summer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone has had a great week. Again, we are back and we're live and we're in living color. And we missed you guys last week, but like everybody else, we just thought that we needed to partake in some of the festivities that were happening last week. And I hope if you have traveled that you have made it home safe. And if you haven't made it home safe, wherever you are watching He Said, He Said, He Said tonight. All right, this week, I got to tell you, it's been all about these darn pardons, ladies and gentlemen. These pardons. Y'all, Donald Trump is out here handing out pardons like Oprah at a car giveaway. You get a pardon, you get a pardon, you get a pardon. It's just been insane. And this week it started off with Todd and Julie Chrisley. I don't know if you know who they are, but this pair, known for their roles on the reality TV show Chrisley Knows Best, were convicted in 2022 of tax evasion and defrauding banks to obtain personal loans with more than $36 million and funded a lavish lifestyle. Both pardoned. And then it was NBA Youngboy, whose legal name is Kentrell Gaulden, was pardoned by this man on Wednesday. Gaulden was sentenced to 2 years in prison in 2024 after acknowledging he possessed weapons despite being a convicted felon. Again, pardon. And then he really dug deep. This one right here, Rob Blagojevich. If y'all don't remember him, in December of 2008, this Illinois governor was arrested on federal corruption charges. And amongst the charges was one that the governor had attempted to sell the U.S. Senate seat that had been vacated by Barack Obama upon his election as president of the United States. Again, pardon. And all these people are being highlighted. And this man that sit on 16th Street is not acting like a president. It's like he's producing this reality show called America's Most Forgiven. And he didn't stop. I mean, rapper Lil Wayne, Kodak and Kodak Black, both caught with more weapons than something you see on CSI. And he's like, they're in my playlist. I don't know if that was why he pardoned, but that's what this man has said. And let us not forget Jay Johnson, who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, and Trump told him when he pardoned him, welcome back to comedy night. Ladies and gentlemen, this is like, this whole weekend, these pardons have just thrown me off completely. It's like looking at like Pardon Palooza, the MAGA edition or something like that. And then we have, last but not least, Snoop Dogg and Nelly, who's out here clubbing at Club Mar-a-Lago, supporting this man. I have never seen anything like this in my life. Celebrity felons, criminal records, backstage passes, and presidential signatures like it's a rap tour. And I have one question before I end this. For those of you who are watching, can you imagine if President Obama had pardoned a black rapper? Okay, that's all I gotta say. I'm done. I'm done. It would not have happened. And if he had done it, he would definitely have been taken, pulled against hot coals or something. But anyway, on a much happier note, ladies and gentlemen, it is Gemini season. For those of you who don't know, okay, Gemini season is here. I want to say hello to all the Geminis out there. I know, you guys are like me, getting ready. If you haven't done so in your Gemini mode right now, please celebrate as best you can. And because we were not here last week, we didn't get a chance to say happy Black Pride to everyone, and also happy World Pride 2025 to everyone, in addition to Memorial Day last week. And it was just a fun time for all. And speaking of fun time tonight, I got to tell you about our show tonight. as we close out our Mental Health Awareness Month. He said Live is wrapping up with this special series with a compelling conversation about the essential connection between mental health and well-being and how we feed our bodies. And tonight in our Manage Your Health series, we have Frutition, certified nutrition and diet specialist Orvel Douglas is here, ladies and gentlemen. And I can't wait until you guys meet him. Trust me, you will leave here feeling better than when you arrived. All right. I got some housekeeping tips before I bring the guys on. Also, for those of you who live in DC, if you don't know, or if you're visiting DC, our metro system now is contactless. And you can pay with your credit card as of Wednesday. I've done this in places like London and New York, but now DC has a contactless way of using your credit card to access the station. You don't have to use your smart pass, but if you have it, you don't have to get rid of it. Use it till you can't use it, but you can use your credit card. And one more piece of housekeeping, Southwest Airlines, for those of you who fly it, Southwest Airlines are now making you check your bags, you all. So the party is over, okay? After 50 years since the airline has been in existence, they now are charging for checked bags. So you heard it here first, if you haven't, on He Said. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, last week was really, really insane. There were so many parties going on. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a group on the show to talk about the Clubhouse 50th anniversary Children's Hour reunion. And as media partners for the 50th anniversary Children's Hour, He Said Live got some recognition for what we are doing in the community. And Bobby and I got the chance of meeting the legendary featured artist that night, Rochelle Fleming, lead singer of the iconic singing group First Choice. And it was just an incredible evening. And I want to give a shout out to JJ Tate, DJ Chosen, DJ Mandrill, and all the organizers of that Clubhouse reunion event. It was absolutely, off the chain, spectacular, bravo, bravo, bravo. Speaking of which, that was the name of the club of where it was held. And last but not least, before I bring the guys on May the 21st, Bobby and I got the opportunity to represent He Said Live for a red carpet event for Silver Pride, kicking off World Pride. And I have some images here, ladies and gentlemen. It was the first time that this Silver Pride has had a red carpet, and Bobby and I used our red carpet, whatever we could pull out of our creative minds to host that red carpet. We did it, and it went off, extremely well. And I want to thank the mayor's office on LGBTQ affairs for inviting us, Seabury Resources for the Aging, who allowed us to bring the concept to fruition, and the Eaton DC, a hotel in DC that hosted the event at their establishment. It was absolutely incredible. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. So, whoa. Again, I don't do what I do alone, ladies and gentlemen. And so if you all will bear with me, can we get on with the chat? Whew. My monologue was long today, baby. It was a lot going on. Hey, fellas.
Bonsoir.
Where's that smile, Sean? How you guys doing tonight?
Great.
Very well.
I'm so glad that you captured a little bit of the fun that we had during that red carpet event for Silver Pride. It was, as you said, a wonderful, wonderful experience. And for us to be a part of both the 50th anniversary of the Clubhouse celebration and Silver Pride as part of World Pride, it says, a lot about he said. It was nice to get a little outdoors with the folks, and people came up and shared that they watched the show with us and so forth. And that was really fun. So thanks again for that opportunity.
It was fun. And, Sean, I got to tell you, Folks kept saying, where's that cute one? Where's the cute one? I started getting a complex. I was looking around. I was like, well, two of them, they was like, where's that cute one? Where's that cute one? I said, Sean will be on the next red carpet. So that meant bring us back, Jag on it. Okay.
But you should have told them that I'm only 37 years of age.
Ooh.
Actually, I told him he was out buying a tank top somewhere. So. I think he's tank top shopping. So,
well, but before we get started, guys, again, I want to say hello to some of the folks that are joining us tonight. Eric Shields, Michelle Bowie is here, John Reed is here, Monica, thank you for joining us. George, thank you for being here. Raw Health,
we met.
Raw Health came up. One of our viewers came up and said hello to us on Sunday night. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Look, what does he say? Good evening, my brothers. It was great to see you and Bobby. I feel even more firm while at the reunion. Beautiful people, Barbara Tucker. Thank you. It was great to see you. Thank you very much. JJ, thank you for being here tonight. Let me see who else is on here before I go. Michelle Sams, welcome. BJ Ferguson.
Hey, BJ.
Sean. Thank you all for being here tonight. Okay, you guys.
Hey, Sean.
we have a production meeting every week, and we got to talking while we were putting this show together. And so as we continue to honor Mental Health Awareness Month, it's important to recognize how deeply connected our emotional well-being is to the food that we consume. For many of us, the way we eat, the way we crave, and what we avoid, and even how we feel about food is often rooted in past experiences and unresolved trauma. So today, Sean, Bobby, and I are opening a conversation amongst ourselves with you about how trauma shaped our relationship with food and how understanding the connection is a powerful step toward healing. So, Sean, Bobby, we're going to go back to Monday. So let's talk about it. Our personal journeys, our triggers, and how we're learning to manage our health one choice at a time.
Wow.
Well, it starts with Bobby, because Bobby is the one that had the shocker.
Well, I had shared with the fellas during our production meeting on Monday that, as you guys know, I'm over 60 years old, and I don't eat watermelon. Yes, it's true. And the reason I don't eat watermelon is both of my parents, God bless them, rest their souls, were North Carolinians. And I was one of those city boys who would always go down to the country during the summer. And we were in North Carolina, and my cousins had a watermelon patch out back. And we had to go out one summer. The kids went out and we got the watermelons, and my aunt and uncle split them and put them in the refrigerator because we were going to have them after dinner. Well, little Bobby, who was about 5 or 6 at that time, went back inside the house, pulled one of those halves of a watermelon out, and just, yes, Sean, I do not eat watermelon. I see Sean going like, really, Bobby? And I pulled out the watermelon and I ate the entire thing. They said the only thing that was left was like a hollow shell. I ate the rind, the seed, all of it. And I was sick as a dog. I was like 5 or 6 again, sick as a dog. And I think even at that young age, I understood the power of prayer. Oh my God, Orvel Health just said I lost my card. Oh my God. Jeez. But I swore to God that I just would not eat watermelon again. If I got well, even at that age, I understood the power of prayer. And he got me through, and I kept my word. Watermelon has not crossed since then.
Wow.
I did tell him on Monday that I made an amazing watermelon and spinach salad that he has to try. But believe me, it's not the whole watermelon in it. It's some shaved watermelon, but you're not eating any type of watermelon at all. Okay. I'll make sure that I.
And mushrooms. That was the other thing I told you. I don't like mushrooms because I see them at the base of trees, and I'm. No.
All right, Sean, what traumatized you as a child?
For many years, people have said to me, man, you eat like a bird. And I will tell you why. It's because when I was also probably age 6, maybe 7, we had a school field trip to the infamous place called South of the Border. I'm from South Carolina. And so South of the Border is my hometown. And so we go there for this school trip, and I ate like a hog. I ate so much, I got sick. And I said to myself, I would never, ever, ever, ever again overeat. And ever since then, I haven't.
And so you don't, is that how you keep that voluptuous? Is that how, is that, is that, is that the, is that the root of how you keep that? You just,
it's how I maintain a 32-inch waist.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You just don't eat. So anytime you're getting close to what would feel like full, you just automatically stop.
No, it's not like that. It's just that I just don't have a desire to sometimes just eat a lot. You know, I mean, I do get hungry and I will have a big meal sometimes, but not to the point where I'm just like, I feel myself about to throw up. And that's what happened when I was about age 5 or 6. I mean, I ate so much, I literally threw up. And I was like, no, I just, and we were poor. We grew up in the country. We were sharecroppers.
Mm-hmm.
And I had all this free food and I just went to town. But that was a bad idea. But ever since then, when it comes to food, I just don't eat a lot anymore. I eat what I need, and I don't eat anymore.
And you're done.
And I'm done.
Great tell, Mr. King.
Well, you know, after we had the meeting, there were a couple of things I did share with them that I have this. I can't look at mayonnaise on a spoon. Like I looked at that. I looked like that little child right there when someone puts mayonnaise on a spoon or I can put it in food, but I have to put it in food so fast. Like if I'm making like a salad that requires some mayonnaise, but mayonnaise really, that's what I share with them. Mayonnaise is something that, you know, I just can't, it can't be present.
One of our viewers mentioned mayonnaise as well, I think.
Oh yeah, it can't. It just can't be present. But then I thought after the call I remember when I was about maybe 6 or 7, and somebody in my house brought some peaches home, and I don't know if they got them off the street, and the peach had fur on it.
It's fuzz on them,
but the peach had fur on it, and in my mind, like an apple, you're supposed to bite it, right? So I just like freaked out, like how in the hell am I going to eat that furry thing? It was like having a mouse in my hand, and I thought,
of course, heard of peach fuzz since then, right?
Well, let me tell you how evolution works. You know, as you growing up and you get a little slightly sophisticated, and somebody serves you a peach, and it doesn't have the fur on it anymore, and they educated me that they cut it, and they took the peach out, and so I remember being traumatized for years and not eating a peach, and right now peaches are like one of my favorite things to do. In fact, someone sent me a recipe recently that I'm going to try out over the holidays as a dessert, how you can put peaches on a grill and have it to serve to guests. And so
when you eat it, does it have to be peeled? Are you saying that you can't eat it if the peach fuzz is there?
I don't want any fur on that. I don't want any fuzz. I don't want nothing that looks that.
But it's best when it's firm and you have that little fuzz on it.
He's looking at you like, then you eat
it. You can have it, but and like thank you all for joining it. The thing that the conversation
as well.
You know, we wanted to have this conversation because we got a little deeper, a lot more deeper than we can go on the show, because you know we have this motto that we can go to the edge but we can't jump. But there are some there were some stories that we shared. My father was very Southern, and you know, I'm talking old school, so old school that when President Obama became president, he told me, "Don't no black man need to be no president." He was that Southern. He hated chicken because he grew up seeing chickens, and he knew how dirty how dirty chicken was. And I remember, you know, one day my mom cooked chicken one day and he just went berserk, as if don't ever bring that meat in my house. And so for a few years, chicken I just didn't want chicken around me because he had me so traumatized that chicken was like the dirtiest piece of meat. But he loved chitlins. Anyway, see,
Hey.
he loved chitterlings. Okay,
And you can't get dirtier than
you
chitterling.
can't get dirtier than chitterlings. But chicken also kind of, traumatized me. But now as an adult, chicken is one of my favorite, meals that I eat, meats that I eat to keep me healthy.
And
Well, I have to share that Sean and I did give Alvin a little bit of grief during our production meeting
yes,
Monday when Alvin mentioned chitterlings because we were like, what? Called chitlins.
They ain't called chitlins. They said chitlins. I
They're
told you,
chitterlings. I don't like chitterlings.
if you go to the store, they have chitterlings on the box. They don't have chitlins, okay? Or at least not at the store where I go. So thank you all. Thank you guys for indulging us in that conversation because it really matters, especially as we dive into our special guest in this conversation, how what we eat can impact us in various ways. So you guys ready to go ahead, Sean, I'm sorry.
Yes, I just want to say, as one who was a sharecropper, in South Carolina for many years with my family, yes, it is chitlings, not chitterlings, because as Bobby said, but chickens are dirty. We had chickens and chickens. We had a coop where we had a lot of chickens. I would go to the store with my grandmother and pick out the little biddies. That's what they were called. And as we brought them to the farm, and as they got older, certain chickens would pluck at the rear end of other hens, and to the point where the chickens would have a wound and end up passing away. So chickens can be filthy and dirty. So your father was somewhat right, but it was the best fried chicken. It was the best eggs.
Sean is trying to traumatize me again. And I'm convinced that that's what he's trying to do. But I'm telling you right now, as somebody, I depend on chicken to keep me. So don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Thank you guys. Are you guys ready to get our special guest in here tonight?
Yeah, because we've got an interesting new perspective coming to us tonight. So yeah, let's get this going.
All right. Our special guest, ladies and gentlemen, Orvel Douglas is a certified nutrition and diet specialist and Frutition, a unique wellness professional focused on empowering individuals through the transformative power of food, lifestyle, education, and holistic health. With a career rooted in advocacy, education, and consultation, Orvel has helped countless people understand how healthy eating can be a gateway to a healthier life, mentally, physically, and emotionally. His work as a Frutitian brings a deeper understanding of how nutrition can serve as a foundation for healing and self-empowerment. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our He Said stage, Mr. Orvel Douglas.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, Orvel.
Hey, how are you?
Fine. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Good. I was listening to your conversation. Very interesting.
Thank you.
That's a nice way of saying we're crazy, Orvel?
No, not at all.
Well, truth be told, framing this show tonight, we're blaming it all on you. You're the one who had us talking, and we just said, wait a minute. We have to frame this so that we could lead into our conversation with you.
Absolutely.
So again, we're giving it all up to you. But again, thank you for being here tonight. BJ Ferguson just said, Orvel, hey, what's going on, man? A shout out to you. So thank you for being here. So I'm going to kick off our conversation with you, Orvel. First of all, again, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
Health and wellness is a broad field, as we all know.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you somewhat of a double question. Why fruits? And what was the moment that made you say, this is the path that I'm taking?
Well, I have to start from the beginning myself as well, because, I've been following a vegan diet for like 30 years. So no meats, no dairy, no eggs, just pure vegan diet. And at the beginning of my diet is just basically just vegan food, cooked food. And then I heard something on Facebook regarding raw foods, meaning that they will prepare certain foods without cooking it. Maybe use like dehydrators. I mean, salads, you can just put it together, but like make crackers from dehydrators, which doesn't bring the food above a certain temperature, because once a food gets over a certain temperature, then it becomes pasteurized. Now, anything that's in its raw state keeps all the nutrients. So even if you lightly steam something, it's got to lose the nutrients. So I followed that path for a little while, but it just took too long to prepare food, because sometimes you're making, like, say for instance, maybe some raw crackers from flax seeds or something like that. It may take like 20 hours to dehydrate, because it's at a very low temperature, below 115 degrees. So I just started to end up eating fruits. It's just like, I don't know, it just happened naturally. I was just eating fruits instead of preparing these things. So I was always busy and on the go. So I just kept eating fruits. And then I decided on my Facebook page, I would talk about fruit and working out and eating correct. So anyway, someone says to me, well, why don't you set up a group so we can experience it? Because we cannot understand what you're saying, eating fruits and working out and feeling good. That doesn't make no sense. Why don't you create a group? So that's what I did. I created a group in 2016. So it's 9 years. And then people decided to join the group. Now, what I found within the group, after the 30 days were over, even if people didn't complete the 30 days, people were sending me a message, I had diabetes, type 2 diabetes, it's gone. I had high cholesterol, it's gone. My high blood pressure is gone. I was getting all these testimonials from people. So I dug more deep into it, So that's how I found that fruits is very, very healing.
Thank you. And we're going to dive into some of what you just said through our conversation as well. So thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was very, very interesting, very detailed. And again, thank you so much for that. And you say yourself that you are not a nutritionist. You call yourself a Frutition or Frutitionist, if you will. So that's a new one for us. That's a new word for a lot of us. So
actually, it's a Frutarian. It's called a Frutarian. It's a Frutarian. But yeah, I did go to school for nutrition. I forgot to. I did go to school for nutrition. But what I found with the nutrition course, that it only gave me information to help people to maintain their, whatever they had, their disease. It never healed. It never healed them. So I thought to myself, well, I didn't really come into this line of work regarding just maintaining, giving something, eat this to maintain it. It's all about, my thing was all about getting to the root cause of the problem. And, over the past 9 years, consulting with people, that's exactly what happened. People had these devastating diseases, but we got to the root cause of the problem.
Okay.
That's very interesting. So why should people care? So what exactly is a Frutarian, if you will?
A Frutarian is a person who their diet is made of at least 70% of eating fruits. And the rest could be like grains, not seeds. There's different levels. People eat more fruits, people eat less fruits. But a Frutarian is a person who eats at least 70% of their diet is fruits. Okay,
excellent.
Wow. When you were mentioning, the whole notion of fruits. Now, before I go into that, I do want to say also, as I said to you during the production meeting, I love your accent. Will you tell us where you're from? It's not an easily identifiable one, I don't think.
Right. Thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm the UK.
The UK. Okay, excellent.
Yes,
okay.
yes,
so,
yeah.
When you mentioned fruits only, a lot of people respond with geez, is that unrealistic? Is it, how sustainable is it? Is it dangerous? I mean, there are people who wonder about that. What do you say?
Yes. I get a lot of questions like that. Is it dangerous? But basically, fruit is nature's food. It's always been on the planet. Anything with seed is got to reproduce. Now, a lot of, for instance, like vegetables, they are hybrids. So if you want to pull the root out of it, it's not going to grow back. So when it comes to nutrition, you have to take it back all the way back. We have a lot of farming methods, to produce food. But if you take it all the way back to the beginning of the time, it starts with fruit trees and it all starts with seeds. So basically the seed, you can get the seeds will reproduce the food again, but with modern farming and just we're in the modern times now, then there's other options of people going to eat. But it's all about our physiology hasn't changed. We have the same physiology, so what I've found that when people eat a lot of different, especially processed food and a lot of meats, what I've found is over a period of time that people will get disease. High blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, cancer. And these people think arthritis, they think, these are age-related diseases. No, they're not. They're dietary, they are caused by diet over a period of time. It doesn't happen overnight, but your body has a way of fighting. You have your natural antioxidants in your body, has a way of fighting and fighting and fighting. But when you get diagnosed with something serious, it's not something that happened overnight. This has been brewing up within your body in the last 15, 20 years. Yeah. And what I've found, I've had people in my group with breast cancer, you name it, and we've had reversals. And I always tell people I'm not a doctor and I don't promise cures, but it's just, the proof is in the pudding. So many people have reversed so many debilitating diseases that they thought could never happen within a very short period of time.
Wow. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
So, well, one of our viewers has mentioned this, and this question is right here.
Right.
The protein question. It always comes up.
Yes.
Many believe you can't build strength, sustain energy, or maintain health without meat or at least vegetables. So where's the protein in a fruitarian lifestyle?
Well, protein is exclusively from plants. It's not from anywhere else. Only plants. If you think about it, you want to be a stronger ox. An ox only eat plants. It doesn't eat meat. These animals don't eat meat to get protein. Now, protein, actually, let's go, it's called amino acids in the plants. Amino acids, when people eat the meat, then the body has to break it down into the smallest pieces to absorb the amino acids from the plants. Just like a cow in its natural habitat will graze on grass the whole day, but it contains all the protein, iron, whatever. It contains everything, and that cow got it from the grass. So when you're getting it directly from the source, which is plants, you're calling the middleman out. Regarding being sustainable or being weak, no, you're not going to be weak. You may feel weak at the beginning because when a person's been eating a diet rich in meats and all these other foods, then what happens, as soon as you start eating fruits, you got to get a detox symptom. A detox symptom, maybe you're feeling weak, tired, and these are only temporary because what the body's doing is actually removing toxins out of the body. That is only temporary. It can take many, many years to detox fully. But what I ask my customers to do is actually, they should make it as part of their regimen, whatever type of lifestyle they follow, like eating meat, it doesn't matter. They should always have a detox plan some point within their life, because if they don't, your body's getting overburdened. We're constantly eating, people eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. By the time they finish breakfast, by the time they eat lunch, breakfast hasn't digested. By the time they eat dinner, it hasn't digested. The body doesn't get a chance to get a break. The only way the body can heal is when the stomach is empty, when there's nothing in your stomach. So when you go to sleep at night for 6 hours, then 6 hours, that's when your body's at rest, but it's not long enough. Now, the beauty of fruit, the reason why I use fruits in my detoxification protocol, because the fruits with a high water content, they absorb within 30 minutes. So throughout the waking day, you're awake. If you eat fruits, doesn't matter how many times they eat it, after 30 minutes, your body goes from digestion to detoxification. Very, very quick. So the body only heals on an empty stomach.
Well, that's why that watermelon is important.
I guess I'm in trouble then.
Well, something, it doesn't, it could be any fruits. It could be any fruit with a high water content. And all it is, it's all about eating enough until you feel satiated. So it doesn't matter how much you eat it until you feel satiated. So regarding the question regarding protein, yes, there's no, there's plenty of bodybuilders who follow vegan diet. There's plenty of them. It's a big myth. Everyone says protein, but extra protein, and most people are protein poisoned. They're getting more protein than what they need within their diet. They say, let me get this high protein diet. Then they end up with kidney disease or high blood pressure or something like that over a period of time.
Well, I said earlier that I do not eat a lot, but
right,
when I get hungry, I do turn into Cruella de Vil. So, but I want to follow up what Alvin said. About, and this is regarding sugar, because that also comes up. And fruit is packed with sugar, and so naturally or not, people worry about spikes, crashes, long-term damage. So how did you address the idea that fruit might be too sweet or not safe when it comes to being a fruitarian?
Okay, so I'm gonna blow another misconception about what you guys probably don't even know. It's not even the sugar in the diet that's a problem. It's the fat in the diet. The only you never heard someone get diabetes from eating fruits. Oh, I found a fruitarian that I got diabetes. Now let me explain this now. When you eat fat, especially animal protein, animal fats, it takes a longer time to break down. It takes a good amount of time to break down. Now, as I mentioned before, fruit break down very, very quickly. Now, every single cell in the body runs off sugar. Natural sugar, not processed sugar. So a lot of time when people eat fruit, they're eating it in between a meal. They eat a meal, then they may have a fruit as a snack and they eat again. So what's happening there? The fruit is breaking down with the fats, all the other foods that you ate before. So it kind of ferments, and the sugars cannot get into the cells where they belong. Because if your bloodstream is clear of those fats, then the sugar can actually go directly into the cells where they belong. I've had many people in the group. I've got to say thousands of people. Type 2 diabetes is one of the easiest diseases to reverse, because once you remove that fat, that extra fat, you remove the problem.
I'm writing that down.
Okay. So you raise a very, very valid question that many people have, and that's the skepticism around the whole notion of being able to reverse disease as a result of dietary choices and so forth. So tell us a little bit more about your evidence, I guess, or proof of some of these reversals that you mentioned earlier.
Well, on my website, I have all the people, people who have, as I said at the very beginning when I first started, I had people, the first challenge I ever did, people said, I'll reverse my diabetes, high blood pressure. But I've been doing this group for the past 9 years. And I have documented cases, basically everything's on my website. I had this lady, it was 2023. She had breast cancer, and you could see the tumor was on her breast. It was just like growing. So someone told her about me, and she wasn't too skeptical. I said, well, listen, at this point, you have nothing to lose. So just join the group and I'll give you all the information. Now, she joined it was the January 1st group of 2024. I spoke to her in November 2023. By the 28th of January, the lump had gone, disappeared. She's cancer free now.
Wow.
That's just one of many. I have so many I could tell you. I have so many. Lupus. Oh my God. So many. Arthritis is another thing. That's one of the arthritis, one of the easiest things to reverse. A lot of time that has a lot to do with the type of water people are drinking. That may sound odd, because a lot of time when people get joint pain, they think it's they think, oh, I was doing sports for 20 something years and now my joints are really hurting me. I cannot do anything. Well, basically, a lot of the waters people are drinking, it doesn't matter if it's spring water, most people drink spring water, tap water. They have minerals in the water, and the minerals are rock solid. The body cannot absorb them. So if you put any type of spring water or mineral water through a distiller, you got to see the residue. It's like a white chalky substance. Have you ever looked at your shower head or a dripping faucet? when it leaves that calcification behind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what happens in the body. So I always tell people, if you got to drink water, the purest water to drink is distilled water because it contains zero minerals. Zero minerals. And what actually distilled water does, it actually helps. It has negative ions and it actually helps to pull out calcification out of the body. So my experience in the group with a lot of people who came in the group thinking that arthritis, by day 10, the pain is gone. But as soon as they resume back to their regular diet, it comes back.
So distilled water.
Distilled water, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Distilled water. I always, a lot of people always say, oh, it has these minerals, but distilled water is dead because it has no minerals. I tell them, well, the minerals that the body needs is organic minerals, but the minerals in water is rock. They're calcified. As you can see at your shower head, you can see the residue that's left behind. That's what you're drinking.
Mm.
Wow. Some of our viewers, Michelle Sims said that she often do a 30-day raw fruit and veggie detox, and it's been life-changing. I can tell you she's a beautiful woman. I've seen her. So if something's working, Michelle. So,
right.
So I've seen it. And Robert said that, do you fast as part of your health journey? That was a question to you.
Yeah, I don't fast anymore because it's like I naturally fast now. Once I eat, I usually eat once or twice a day, and that's it. So I'm going through many hours because, my body got so used to it, that I don't really, I don't feel the need to eat. Back in the early days, I used to fast. I used to water fast I was doing like 21-day water fast 4 times a year. I was doing that. But as time went on and I learned more, I found that that's not really necessary when you're eating fruits. When you diet predominantly fruits, it's not really necessary because because it breaks down very quickly and your body goes directly into a fasting state.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. You answered it earlier in a way, but I'm going to kind of twist it a little bit because I want to see how you feel about this. So what about, you talked about people with real conditions, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, etc. But what do you say to a person who doesn't agree with how you see
Fruitarian.
Is fruit a smart or even safe choice for people who do have these serious diseases like diabetes, obesity, and heart disease?
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, there's not really much I can say to people. I mean, I just give them the information. A lot of people may not be so stuck in their beliefs, but my thing is, it's all about the proof. That's the bottom line. Mm-hmm. Does it work? Mm-hmm. Does it work? And that is the bottom line. And I'm not the only person, like only group who does this. There's other people who will tell you the same thing. They had like irreversible diseases and they, so I can just give them the information, but if it doesn't resonate with them, then,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Got it. I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah.
Well, if someone assumed then that, to have a strictly fruit, and you did clarify for us earlier that in your case, you're speaking basically 70% or so.
Yeah, 70% or more. Yeah, 70% or more. My diet's basically like 99%.
Yes.
Fruits. Yeah.
When people assume then that someone who takes up this dietary approach can be malnourished.
Right.
How do you respond to that?
Well, malnourished. Well, I always say to people that, sometimes people may look malnourished at the beginning because the body's clearing out the toxins. Mm-hmm. So you have to remove the toxins first of all. You have to remove the toxins out of the body. And as time goes on, then, it's all about the body will build back up. But that's the first thing, that's the first thing to get healthy is getting rid of the toxin. But even though a lot of people may look at someone and say, oh, that person look malnourished. Yeah. And then, it's just an aesthetic kind of thing, but they're not. Because they're functioning right. They don't have any health issues or anything like that. It's just an actual look. So we are associated the way people look. For instance, if you take, for instance, back in the 70s, you'd see most people were really slim. You know what I'm trying to say? You see, most people were slim, but as time, I mean, the foods have got worse regarding processed foods. So now, if a person is slim in today's day, you're unhealthy. But back in the 70s, you wasn't. You know, so it's kind of like how things have changed.
Mm.
And as I said before, our physiology doesn't change.
I know some people like meat on their spouses.
What's that?
What did you say?
Yeah, oh, of course, yes, of course, yes, of course, yes.
Teachers own.
Absolutely, to each their own.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
But I have no desire to go to look like those. Well, anyway,
Right.
my question is,
You say essentially you're saying nobody likes a bone but a dog, right?
Okay, right.
Okay, you know what? I'm a keep ask that question. Okay.
Sean just give us the guns right there.
Right.
I like meat. Okay. But anyway, I'm not going to digress that way. My apologies, Orvel.
No, it's okay.
You did mention water earlier, and
Yes.
And we talked a lot about watermelon, which has a lot of water. Okay.
Yes.
And so, what is the role of water? Because people are concerned about their water intake when it comes to fruit. Okay. And as a
Right.
fruitarian, what is the role? You know, what are the outcomes, the results from
Water.
from water, and particularly in all the fruit that one eats?
Yeah, well, the water in fruit is structured water. You know, it will not. I mean, it will nourish you on a cellular level. I mean, regular water won't do that. It will not really. It won't nourish you on a cellular level. Water is basically, if you're thirsty, you know, drinking because your throat is dry. But that's what I'm saying. If you got to drink water, it's basically distilled water, because those other waters have like a lot of stone minerals in it. I mean, I don't drink water. I eat my water. I eat my water. I don't drink it. I eat it because because that's all I eat. The type of fruits I eat is high watery fruits now, and it doesn't leave me thirsty. The only time I'll get thirsty, if I was to say I when I ate something with some herbs and spices and a little bit of salt or something like that, and I ate a meal, then within 20 minutes I need to drink. So, you know, because my body's got so used to cleared out of, you know, toxicity. So when I put it back in, like adding these different things, then I naturally started to get thirsty.
Can you give us an example of some of those fruits you eat that are full of water aside from watermelon?
Yeah, tell me, because I want to drink. I want to eat.
Want to eat the water too?
Mangoes. I love mangoes, grapes, cherries, apples, oranges, pears, anything that's juicy. Any of those fruits that are juicy,
Cantaloupe.
they have a high water content.
Cantaloupe,
yeah. All the minute, all of them are juicy. Anything that a high water content, very juicy. They have, you know, and they have to say that have like organic minerals in your body. That's got to nourish you, the organic minerals, compared to so people are worried about drinking water with minerals. But I says, well, you're only drinking water because it's got minerals, but it's not the type of minerals that the body needs. You know, I show them, you see what it does. And people would always mention about the spring water. And I did an experiment to show them, okay, here's the most expensive spring water that you buy. Put it through a distiller. And then what's left behind, you get this white chalky substance. That's what's being ingested.
Well, I'm going to, because our viewers are so into this right now, we have two questions that we're going to go off script for a minute.
Right.
Robert says, do you eat seedless fruits? He doesn't.
Right.
He doesn't like watermelon, and he totally agreed that quality fruits and veggies are the key to a healthier and longer life. So the question is, do you eat seedless fruit?
Rarely, no. I'm going to say no to the majority of the times, you know. But what I've observed is, well, all the time I always get seeded fruits, but over the couple of years, every now and then I may eat maybe some seedless grapes, not because if I cannot get it, I would eat seedless grape. But what I found, that was an interesting question. What I found within the group with a lot of the participants, a lot of them are located in certain places where they cannot get seeded fruits. So I said to them, well, all you can do is the best you can do, just get what you can get because you're going to eat fruits. And they still reverse their diseases.
Wow.
You know, so I always go by what I see. You know, than actually what people think. You know, because if you really think about it, when I mentioned before, when it comes to reverse diseases, it has nothing to do with the seeds. It's all to do with the hydration, because the body will break it down very, very quickly. You know, now I'm gonna go another route. For instance, if you ate one meal a day of something like meat and something like that, yeah, you probably will get the same effect in a sense. But what's gonna happen? It's gonna take at least 24 hours, 36 hours to break it down. So it's all that time consuming. You see, so you won't be able to eat throughout the day. You just have to eat that one meal a day. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people may just eat a meat diet, but they may, you know, for a healthy reason, they may eat it just like once a day, and then for like 24 hours, then they go back because it's digested. Now, if you keep on eating and the food hasn't been digested, lunch hasn't been digested by eating dinner, then you go to sleep and it hasn't really digested, and you start again with breakfast. That's where the problem comes in.
So before I get to another viewer's question, I want to ask you, health experts suggest that lifting weights to build muscle as a practice to lose weight. How does a fruit-based diet support or not support this theory?
We support it.
Oh, you do support it?
Yes. Exercise is very, very important. Very, very important. Because what it does, exercise, you have something called the lymphatic system, which runs parallel to the blood, and that's where all the toxins are dumped into the lymphatic system. Now, the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like the heart has a pump, can pump the blood around. So anything you eat, whatever you eat, you have like cellular waste. The cellular waste is dumped into the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is an area where the body's got to take it out through the kidneys or through the skin, all the toxins out of the body. Now, if you're not exercising, then the lymphatic system is got to look like, you ever seen a fish in a bowl and it's got like dirty water? It's dirty water, and you know, and the fish has got to get sick. That's what's making people sick, because the lymphatic system is not functioning correctly. So I have analogy in the group. You know, you got a fish in a bowl in the dirty water, and you say, how would you make the fish healthy? Would you vaccinate the fish? And I says, no, you wouldn't vaccinate the fish. What you do, you take the water and throw it out, and put a new bowl of water so the fish can thrive. That's exactly how the human body is.
Well, I'm very, very familiar with the lymphatic system, but
yes,
but I do know that factually that when you work out, lift weights, your lymphatic system functions better. But with that being said, you know, you kind of already answered this question already. But if everyone went fruit-based tomorrow, what changes would we see in our bodies and in our communities? I mean, would it be like you said earlier, that 60s, 70s, slim, 150-pound man?
No, because you have to remember, when it comes to body size and body shape, it's all to do with genetics. It's all to do with genetics. It doesn't matter. So some people, you got two people who eat a meat-based diet. Someone maybe been working out so long and they're 150 pounds and they'll never pass that weight. You know what I'm trying to say? Or you got someone who, you know, works out and they're like 200 pounds, you know, of muscle. So it's all to do with, I tell people, it's all to do with genetics. It's just like a person who's eating a meat-based diet, also with a fruitarian diet. You got to get people in different shapes and sizes. You know, all you can do is work out, and then, you know, what's going to happen, that your body, you develop the best body what's genetically made for you. And also what would happen, you'll see a lot less of sicknesses within everywhere, you know.
Wow. So, Orvel, so much to given us to think about, you know. So nutrition, weight loss, all of these things, it's big business in the United States of America.
Yes, it is.
It's big business. When you think about, you know, Weight Watchers and all of these organizations that are trying to get people healthy in one way or another.
Right.
What, with that in mind, what would you say is the one thing that you wish people would think differently when it comes to food, that have a, you know, the do differently when it comes to food? I mean, some people, it's when they eat, the portions they eat. What is, if
Right.
there were one thing that you wish people were doing differently or thinking differently about food, what would that be?
I would say that they should probably eat less, because a lot of time people are eating just for the sake of eating it. They don't really need it. They don't really need the food. It's something you're craving for. You know what I mean? The less, the less you have, the more your body will function.
So
Because the
proportion.
people who usually eat less normally lives longer, and they've done many studies with the animals. That these animals, they live longer because because when you're always constantly eating, digestion, your body's always trying, always digesting. Now, digesting and healing cannot happen at the same time.
So those
It's one or the
suggestions are
other.
small proportions throughout the day, then
Yeah,
it's not.
it's a small proportion throughout the day. Yeah, smaller portions. Yeah. Just cut back on certain things. Just cut back on processed foods. If you're a person who likes a lot of meat, just have, if you eat like 3 or 4 times a day, just have one meal without, with plants only. Just kind of change up the narrative. Because these little things will make a big difference.
Well, I'm going to get to 2 more questions before we go, and then we're going to begin to wrap up. But Darren Wheeler, Deron Wheeler, who thank you for joining us tonight, Deron. He said, other than being delicious, are there benefits in coconut water?
Yes, benefit. Yeah, coconut water has a lot of electrolytes. Electrolytes. I think I cannot remember which World War is 1 or 2. Well, actually, these Japanese were using coconut water injected with their body to use their blood plasma.
Wow.
Well, they were using coconut water.
I'm talking right now. Excuse me, Orvel. We are definitely going over 8 o'clock.
Okay.
You guys are into it before we wrap up. I'm sorry, Orvel. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead and finish. No, did you finish your statement about coconut water? Did you?
Yes, coconut is very beneficial. That's the bottom line. The one that unprocessed, the real coconut from the shell, not the ones in the bowls in the store or in the not those.
Okay. And see, I'm allergic to coconut, so we're going to end that. So it's going to stay where it is. Michelle Sims had this one last question. She said, "What is your opinion on engineered fruits? Example, seedless watermelons, etc."
Thanks, Michelle.
Seedless watermelons are not engineered; they're hybrids. There's a difference. There's GMO, genetically modified, and hybrids. So, genetically modified, I'm very against that because that can cause a lot of health issues. They're showing that genetically modified foods, for instance, you may like a tomato, and what they'll do, they'll make cross the tomato with a pig gene. They've got some, but that's really bad. But hybrids, even certain fruits comes in nature naturally being hybrids because sometimes it's cross-pollination from one field to another. So seedless fruit, take-home message, always, if you can get seeded, that's what you get. But if you cannot, then just do the best you can.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, Orvel, I know that you do a monthly fruit feast challenge, and there's actually one tomorrow, and starting in July. So if you can, and you host it on Facebook.
Yeah,
but if you can, can you please tell us about that?
Yeah, so the fruit feast challenge. Okay, I have a mini challenge which is starting June the 1st, and that's for 14 days. And that's really good for the less experienced person because 14 days is very durable. But the main challenge is every other month. And the next one is going to be July the 1st, which is 31 days. But it's the same information, but not all the information I can give because I only have 14 days. It's about detoxification. It's about regeneration. It's about exercise. It's about blowing myths about nutrition, like some of the things we discussed here. It's about weight loss. It's about anything to do with health. I mean, everyone can ask whatever question they want. If it's a question I think that all the group would need to hear, I'll do a video about this, about the question. Otherwise, I'll just reply to that person. But it's a highly educational class. And a lot of myths are blown in that group.
Well, I know that we have an image. I have an image definitely for June and July that if my producer has them put it up. Yes, I want to make sure that people see it. So when you go to Orvel's his website, you will see these images there, and you all can definitely partake in that. Orvel, before you leave us, what is one piece of advice you'd offer someone who's curious about but hesitant about making dietary changes, especially toward a more fruit-forward lifestyle?
I would just say, just set your mind to it and go for it. Don't be scared. You know, a lot of time, a lot of people, you know, because what they've heard, they're very fearful. You know, so you have to. I always tell you, if you're doing something and that's not really working, try something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just try it. You'll see what happens there. You know, that's all you got to do. And the reason why I do the group is because there's so much myth around fruits on Facebook. They're saying, you know, people say I did the fruit and it made me sick and blah blah blah. But yeah, it will make you sick. But a lot of people don't have the understanding. So that's the reason why I create the group, to let them know. Well, the reason why you're getting sick, because this is what's happening. You know, so everything's explained through. So you're not doing it by yourself.
Well, I just want you to know our viewers are saying, bring you back, bring you back. I just want you to know that you have a home here. And even Colin Clark from New York. Thank you, Colin. Thank you for giving us the kudo on a great show, man. You know, we work very hard to be a resource to you guys. And, you know, Orvel has made that very, has brought that to our stage tonight. So Orvel, thank you so much for being here. Don't go away. We're going to keep you on camera. Okay. But thank you for being here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we always want to leave you with our words of the week. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Absolutely. Our words of the week. Your diet is not only what you eat, it's what you watch, what you listen to, what you read, the people you hang around. Be mindful of the things you put into your body emotionally, spiritually, and physically. All right, please do that. And Eric, thank you for joining us tonight. What a great show. What a great show. I met him 6 months ago, you guys, at a party. All I said was hello. And I knew he had something that I wanted to know better. And so I saw him online with some friends he's connected to. And that's when I was introduced to his Frutarian page. And so thank you for being here.
Thank you
for being here, Orvel. Wow, you're just incredible.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back live with you next week as we enter another Friday in Gemini. Anyway, but thank you.
Do you think he's a Gemini by any chance? Do you think?
Thank you all for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next week on a new live episode of He Said.
He Said.
He said.
Take care, everybody. Orvel, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thanks for having me.
everybody for tuning in.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.